Graham. Graham, please give us a little bit more tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from.
I'm Graham, as you know. My company is Dent Detail PDR. I in the Manchester area, cover Greater Manchester, Lancashire, doing PDR, glue pulling, anything PDR related really. So.
And what are we going to do now? What are you going to give us a quick demo on?
Basically a standard door dent, typical door dent, the everyday car park shopping dent.
So do you want to just pick it out for the camera?
Yeah, if you
I've got it.
want to step to this side here.
Put it in the light there now. Yeah, got it. Right, so we'll come around and we're going to watch Graham do this over his shoulder.
No worries.
No pressure, Graham.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
There's a few people watching. Hi. Are you a good man? Yeah. And where do you work? Are you on Instagram? Watch out for Dent for a call. You might pop up on Instagram. So, Graham, what are you doing right now?
Basically what we're doing first is standard door dent, winding your window down. There's a straightforward access to the back side of the dent there. Obviously you've got the glass in the way, we don't want to damage the glass, so let's take it out again.
That's okay.
Steel guard, felt on that side, so that goes against your glass, doesn't scratch it, protects it or anything. So slides down the gap, obviously over the glass, make sure of that. And we're in there, over the general area of the dent. Wedge in.
Something to note as well, when you're working on glass and you're putting a wedge in and a glass protector, be careful because laminated glass can still break with this, so it doesn't like this technique.
No, laminated glass will break even easier. You definitely want to be careful with that. If you put a slightest bit of pressure on the top of the glass, the laminated glass, it's just going to crack, and then you're doing that dent for free. Yeah.
Right, so let's see what we do. So we're going to try and pick the dent up in the light. Oh,
so
right, just got it. There we go. I've got it.
You see it.
So we've got a dent there. I'm just going to hand over to Graham.
So when you got the gap, you pretty much going straight down the top of it.
What bar are you using there, Graham?
I think that is 18-inch Ultra Dent, pretty standard, changeable tip on it. Tip wise, you're going to match it up to the size of the dent depending on what the dent's like. That's a pretty standard tip, rubber capped for that size of dent. As you can see there, a selection of different tips, obviously nice and sharp ones to finish it off with. If the dent was bigger, we'd be using something kind of that size. As you're working your dent that's bigger, if it's obviously getting smaller and smaller and smaller, you want to bring down the size of your tip smaller and smaller and smaller.
Just leave you to it then.
Yeah, come back in 2 hours. So
I know what it's like. I don't actually like to be watched when I'm working either, so to me put Graham under this sort of pressure, I feel quite and he's got a selection of guys watching.
It's different when you're at a customer's house. It's not not as bad.
No.
So if you want to step over my shoulder and look at it that way, basically the bar now is over the guard that's over the glass, so we're in here. Okay. So if you take it from that side, we want to be roughly about there, pushing it from the inside.
Yep.
So this is where the light comes in. So if I start somewhere higher when I'm pushing, can you see it getting lighter? Yep. So we don't need to be there. We obviously want to be down where the centre of dent is. Work it down, push lightly so you can see where it is. The closer you get, you know you're coming closer to the dent. Now I'm pretty much on that dent there. So if I start pushing gently until it starts flexing, can you see the dent disappear?
Yep.
The shadow of it. And when you release, it comes back in.
So let's just, for those who don't know, what is the purpose of having this line board here? It's a light line board and a traditional piece of that.
This is a fog board, basically. Further down you put it, the fog board shows up every single piece of little detail. It's like you can even see the condition of the orange peel.
Yeah.
Some guys used to use lines, which completely messes my...
Lines to a front board to a line board?
No, line guys are a special breed. No, Keco obviously trained everyone to use fog board.
Right.
You can just see everything more clear. I mean, you can see the amount of times that panel's been worked on. Is pickles here and there, there's other dents here and there. So don't get me wrong, you see everything with a line board. It's just how people's eyes react different to it, but do you recommend using the fog board to do your training with?
Okay, cool.
So now, let's give it a few more little pushes.
Let me see if I can pick it back up.
So,
not got it.
No.
Just put your finger on it.
So we're just about there now.
I can see it. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I can see it in my eye, but not with the camera.
So
there we are.
You see the panel flexing. Nice little pushes close together. The idea is to get to the deepest part of the dent, work it out from there. If I start pushing over here somewhere, you can see I'm nowhere near the dent, you're just going to create high spots everywhere. If you do get your high spots, that's when the tapping down comes in. Like for example, if I just push something a little closer to the light there, I'll just push an high spot on it on purpose. So you see that?
Yeah, so we've got that.
Yeah, that's obviously something we don't want.
That's where you've pushed it too high, basically,
yeah,
to give us a bit of a demo.
just to show you.
And you can see how the actual fog-borne line, fog board line has now curved inwards rather than outwards.
Yeah. Right. So if I was just going to show you what we do with something like that now, tapping it down, you'll see how this moves down.
Yep, sure. So what are you picking up now?
This is one of my favourite tools. That's the edgy peg leg, pirate leg. It's like a sort of peak plastic material.
Alright, let me just get it focused on it. Okay, got it. Yeah. Alright, and then you're going to actually use a wooden mallet for this one?
Yeah, paddle. Some guys use hammers. I think they started training you on hammers, just down to preference really. I just like...
Now what, you're going to give us a demo on the high spot?
Yeah, tapping down. Same as when you're pushing a dent really, you want to match up your tap down to how the high looks. If I'm using something like that, we can obviously see that that is far bigger than the high spot.
On again, because it wasn't on the camera. There we go, yeah, so put the other one in your hand.
Yeah. So you can see the difference between them two.
Right, yeah, so it's choosing the right tap down, the right bar for the dent that you're working on.
Yeah. Okay. So we'd say that's a decent size tap down for that type of high spot. So with the fog board, obviously you want to be looking at that at the same angle that the board's at. I could probably put that board a little bit higher now. You want it so the top of the light is on the top of the high spot where you can see it the brightest.
Yeah. And all it takes is just a couple of light points in the taps in the right area. You're just knocking that high spot down.
So that's pretty much all gone. You can still see a little bit on the top. Obviously that spot now is a lot more narrow than that, so we know that that's not the right tap down to finish that off with.
Yeah.
So I changed that out now for a small one.
So that's a really quick little demo there from Graham on how to take a dent down and take a dent out, and also how to tap down a high spot that he put in for us. And I hope you find that useful. I will tag him in this video, so if you have any questions, please send them over to him. Graham, just let us know your hashtag again for Instagram.
Instagram, hashtag Dent Detail PDR, Facebook, Dent Detail PDR, anything, Dent Detail PDR.
I'm just going to zoom into your hand just so everyone finds. So there we are. Ask Graham. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Brian. Thank you.